Next episode. And if you've seen our last video, I outlined the Laban code, which basically is Hebrew for white. Laban. So you see here, Labanization is a system for analysing human movement, invented by Austro-Hungarian choreographer and dancer Rudolf von Laban. So basically, you think about European modern dance. So think about European dancing, what it was, run about this time period here. It was all about ballrooms and like waltzing and stuff like that, right? So this comes out of that, an idea based on basically the white man's dancing type of ideas. So why would that analysing and recording human movement? Because they're bloody non-whites. They're non-whites and they're studying white ways, right? And we're sort of studying like dancing. And like I say, it was the dancing was all about him moving around very slowly and rhythmically. It wasn't not like what you do now type of thing, right? So this is part of like that type of idea of non-whites going to the West and then sort of analysing and aping, studying and aping and copying, right? That's what they've done all the time. Of course the lab plays a very big part in that, because that's how they whitened up, that's how they became white in order to mix into the West via the lab. See? So you can see how the lab becomes something to do with it, you know what I mean? It's all about going to the West, blending into the white man's lands, infiltrating and taking it over. Right? It's war, it's like a war strategy, right? Subterfuge, infiltration and all this. Again, going back to this Laban, the white. He was a brother of Rebecca, a woman who married Isaac and bore Jacob. So it's like this is about like different tribes or whatever. These are got to be representative of different races and stuff like that. How the Jacob one, the Jacob one, the Jacob one was in the Islam is supposed to be the one who made the white devils. Right? Jacob supposedly made the white devils. But this one, this Laban, is supposed to be gotta remember the Hebrew language is only a couple hundred years old, right? It's not thousands of years old, it's about dating to about 1700 and like a little bit before 1700, as they call it on the timeline. Again, the timeline had to have started from round about 1700 or something, the start of the timeline. There hasn't been 2,000 years of history. The start of the timeline from round about 1700 or something like that. Now I would say 1717 personally, because that's the Freemasonry year, right? As you see there, doing the codes, right? So there's only been about 300 years of recorded history. 300 odd, right? And the Hebrew language is basically a new type of coded language, right? It's basically made in order to be some type of language that hides secret codes in, for their own Masons and Jews and that, right? That's what it is. But as you see, the Laban idea is in the Book of Mormon as well. All times the Laban becomes like a sort of evil character, a destructive character. He meets a bad end from God, the same as Abel does. It's all about being a white man, coded in a white man, because the Bible is a black book. It's a black man's book. Yet they whitened the black man's book to present it to European peoples as if it was a white man's book. It's a con. It's a con. White. Right, again, read. as you see, all the illustrations were done around about 1873. This is the period when they really went, advanced that sort of agenda. The Bible become big, around about the 1800s. And if you've heard that type of stories they say about the translation of the Bible, a lot of the stories say it was originally written in Aramaic, right? The field of Aram there, as you see that, right? Of course, Royal Archmasonry and all this, but that's what they say. In recent type of times, they say that the original Bible was written in Aramaic. Of course, this character Laban is supposed to be an Aramean, right? So again, that's a joke against the white man, It's another one of these sort of jokes which is targeted against the white man, Oh, it's an Aramean, Of course, such things is bullshit, meaningless. Arameans, Hebrews, and it's recent stuff, It's recent stuff. It isn't, as you say, the ancient idea, the core of the ancient there tells you who's behind it. It's Masonic. Of course, that's garbage. But this sort of Aramean is referring to a white man. In this particular case, this Laban thing. So again, it's bullshit. The deceiver, Aramean. So this Aramean idea is crap. And in this interpretation, Arame personifies the Israelites' people's bitter enemy. So in other words, the white man is the Israelite people's bitter enemy. See what I mean? And all this Aramean idea is to deceive, the ram. Deceive and get in and take over in order to destroy the bitter enemy. We have African languages, the Hausa is one of these African languages. Of course, you can get the Bible in Hausa language, right? Of course, what the claim is that the Bible was translated into all these various African languages. Again, from this sort of original 2,000-year-old scripture that there was, right? And even then, it's not clear. Some sources say it was written in ancient Greek, Aramaic, Hebrew, whatever, But I think personally, I would say that it was translated from the African into the other languages, And that's what I would say, Of course, they claim the opposite, because they're obviously liars and reverse everything. But I would say it comes from these African languages, Dahurmis, Dahurmi. We've all heard the Hurmi idea, coming into the sort of European culture, and the Dan Hurm, the tribe of Dan, and the Hurm sort of making it the Hurm, And there's a bit of code there, sees me to be a false etymology. Well, I'm sure it is. It's our code lies in that to cover up what's going on, right? Again, West Africa, so the love, West Africa is very important. And came to fruit in 1718, began significant expansion of the kingdom of Dahomey. Expansion all the way into Europe and the West. Gotta be something like that. You can see the fairly recently sort of historical write-up about these places. And this is the reality, obviously all the sort of ideas of slave trade there's no evidence of that, other than TV shows, history books and movies. Right? Where's the real evidence that there was slave trade where all these blacks were slaved? But you can see for yourself, the economic slavery on the Western world, that's real, 100%. And then follows immigration, see? First you enslave the white Europeans, and then follow with multiculturalist immigration. Elite. When you look into it, you see that King David was black. And a lot of ideas about King David, the most famous ginger. Of course, you know what word that corresponds to. But there's a lot of ideas about the red and the black. They seem to be interchangeable, right? And British Israelism teaches that David was white because he was ruddy. Again, this has to be some British Israelism, has to be the source of the Africanism, right? This has to be the idea of bringing the Africanism into Europe, this British Israelism. And as you see here, it says British Israelism teaches that David was white, because they've told people through their biblical sort of teachings that all these characters in this Bible are white men and all this. You see, that's what they've been teaching, but it's all lies. You can see how the black Israelism becomes the foundation of this Africanism within Europe. You see so many codes about the David, right, that indicates he was black. That's just David Barksdale, right, King David. So there again, more code, right? Dr. Martin Luther King, right? David Barksdale, born Denise David Barksdale. Bark the God, Bark the dog. You know, American Gangster, like that movie what they made, you know. So the David idea is definitely relating to an African king idea. Of course, David was supposed to be king of the United Kingdoms, the United Kingdoms of Israel. And all these type of ideas about it. But as you know, they started to call now what used to be Great Britain, the UK, they call it now the UK, right? And this is basically a homage to the United Kingdoms of Israel, which is basically the United Kingdoms of Africa, right? That's why they call it the United Kingdoms. David, King of Israel, is alive today, so it's like this is like a prophecy idea, you know. It's something to do with an African prophecy, you know. David, King of Israel, is alive today. And as you see here, United Kingdoms of Africa. So this is why they're calling, basically renaming the Britain, the UK, for this, right? His Majesty King David. We know how many ideas about you know, David there is, right? Like David Attenborough, right? Who had a show called Africa, 2013. Obviously he's been doing those type of these sort of shows looking at animals and nature and that for years. Of course, what you got to remember about these shows is they were all filmed in game reserves. Now, they were never filmed in the real wild, they were filmed in enclosures, you know, large enclosures, you know, I think maybe it's 100 odd miles long, but still an enclosure, like a Kenyan game reserve, something like that. So these were never filmed in the real wild. Of course, that famous episode where he was with the gorillas. I mean, you know, you're not going to lie doing with a pack of gorillas, you know, unless they've been doped up on drugs or something. So that was, you know, that was brainwashing me. So this is one of the most famous things what that Attenborough did. I mean, that Attenborough's obviously one of their trances, you know. Looks like a woman, talks like a woman, not that, looks like one. This was like a famous thing what this character done, was they lie down with all these big gorillas and that in the grass. And this was obviously a brainwashing idea for the cultural, multicultural race mixing to follow, you know. Look at how cute and lovely these gorillas are and all this. But you know, for the fact that one of them big gorillas, you know, unless it was doped out with drugs or something, it would pretty rip you off or something, you know. It's propaganda, you know, propaganda, brainwashing and propaganda. You know, insane. You know, this is the level what I took it to, you know. Sir David, Sir